Hello and welcome to WDR TV. I'm your host Mike B. Here we are once again, firmly rooted, damned our feet down into November. And what a November it's been. We've been glued to our TV sets for the last couple of days while we watched the evil emperor, the evil orange tussle-haired fucking fascist dickhead emperor in the United States be overthrown, jubilation in the streets and stuff like that. Let's see what happens, okay? But you know, that's just the first maybe glimmer of light on the horizon of this year. Only one down, one to go. But there we go. So that happened. That was quite pleasant, wasn't it? Wasn't board game related in the slightest, unless you take Campaign Trail, which is a board game I play. Ben owns. Sadly, we can't play at the moment. We're in lockdown fucking again. But yeah, that was. I wouldn't mind giving that another run now. It's quite nice. Oh. Fell off. Quite a nice strategic simulation of the election, the American election system, and the swing votes and swing states and all that sort of stuff. It was quite cool. Campaign Trail. They recently had a Kickstarter expansion to it, which I think Ben has backed, or it's still running. Anyway, I digressed, but yeah, again, I managed to merge that into. That was a nice slide into board games, wasn't it? I'm doing this. What that's. I got stuff. Right, anyway, so what we've played.
What's Mike played? I really want to know what Mike's played. What you played, Mike? Oh, and you other guys.
So yes, played games. The final game I got in was on Tuesday. As lockdown beckoned, it was on the horizon. We gathered together and threw together and got one game in of Jaws of the Lion, which I dinged to level 5, and it was kind of cool because I opened some stuff and things, not to spoil anything. But yeah, we're digging that. It's good fun. Emboldened by that, yesterday, Sunday night, which is normally our game night, we were back onto online gaming, and I don't really cover this. I don't really get online board games, so we're trying to play sort of more games. However, Gloomhaven's on there. Gloomhaven, the app, I picked it up and it was cheap a little while ago. They recently launched the multiplayer version, so we were like, well, fine, let's get a Gloomhaven fix. Let's play the multiplayer. Now, aside from Tony's total incapability of using a PC and being near one for its self-destruct, and everyone else being a bit special, eventually about an hour in, we actually started our game off, whereupon Jamie's PC crashed, and then we had to redo where we were, and then once we redid what we were, we nearly did that campaign, and then it crashed again. So this was about 10:30, and we'd played about 3 rounds of the game. So at that point, it was declared that we would call that as a bad idea. We had a brief go at Battlegrounds, which is fun. I enjoy Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Me and Robbie played it the other day against each other, and we all went in as a 4 group eventually, once Tony had dealt with the issue of downloading it and then trying to actually get the game to start. It takes a bit of a learning curve, but it is. I'm definitely enjoying it. It's a nice change of pace for the Hearthstone stuff. You don't need any buy-in to get it. I did feature it in a few videos ago. It's good fun. I'm not sure it's a fix to our Sunday evenings. It was just sort of last grasp thing. I have my eye on the Game of Thrones board game digital implementation, which does look possibly quite cool. I like the Game of Thrones board game. I don't want to eat. I quite enjoyed it as a concept, and I love the theme. It's a bit Twilight Imperium-ish, actually, now I think about it, as how it plays out, but more backstabbery, good fun. But the board game was just very clunky, and especially it really didn't play fantastically at under the 6 player count, and teaching it to 6 players, which I attempted one night, was a battle. So it was just not seeing the love. I passed mine on, got rid of it, because it just felt like it was not going to ever really see the table very much. I know this subsequently brought out Mother of Dragons expansion, which did make it apparently much more playable at the lower player counts. That ship has passed at that point. Unless I stumble across both of those games at a very reasonable price, it kind of seemed like, yeah. However, all of that going on, there is a digital version of it. It's kind of pricey though. It's like 15 quid at the moment, which is the only thing which has given me pause for thought. because I'm like, oh, that's quite expensive. But I am tempted by it. I don't even get everyone else involved in it, maybe, but it's something that I think it's a nice middle ground. It's a kind of epic-ish board game thing implemented on the PC. That could be fun, could be something, but I don't know whether I want to punt £15 on that privilege. We'll see. Maybe at a drop in price soon. So that's why we play. That's it. I've been hoping to get some solo games in or some family gamage in, but with the puppy at the moment, it's really tricky. Speaking of the puppy, before I got going this morning, me and him went out into the woods. We had a lovely walk out. The woods are beautiful this time of year. All lovely, all autumnal, all Halloweeny, orangey all over the place. It's quite nice. Here he is. There we go. There's the sun, there's some green stuff, there's a... And that was surely before I was covered in mud. But this puppy, he's all right. Baby's fine as well, in case anyone's concerned about him. That's that. So news. The news. It's a bit light on news, if I'm honest with you. However, there's a few new, like it's the Tokyo Game Market. I think it happens at the end of the week. I'm kind of fascinated always with some of the games coming out of Japan and all those sort of areas because they're quite quirky. Some of them are really clever. There's a few bits and pieces. There's Bomb Squad. Looks mildly interesting if it ever comes to market anywhere else over here. But it looks a little bit like Stop Talking or Everyone Explodes or something. There was a Steam game which is kind of cool of bomb diffusing. And it kind of looks a bit like that, but that's all we've got to go on at the moment. Interesting, maybe. And the other one is like a Uri Geller simulation game. Spoon bending. Comes with spoons. I don't know how you're supposed to be at a thing, you're bending spoons, but you can't bend too far. You're just subtle bendage. Don't know how any of it's going to work, but what a fucking crazy idea. Bless them. Mindleaf. Oh, yes. So, Hopwood. Mr. Hopwood, Andy Hopwood of Hopwood Games. He recently released Daring Dust Bunnies, which I picked out as a cracking little family game you can play, or even vicious. It's got vicious undertones to it. It's good fun. Anyway, he's just partying on his web store at the moment for release. I think it's the 15th of November is what I think it is a polished up posh edition of Mindleaf, which is his two-player abstract sort of tile placement thing. Me and Andy spoke about it at Expo a few years ago, and I think this succinctly sums up how wonderful the game is. I think the favourite thing...
there's Mindleaf, obviously.
There is that.
That's a good game.
Which I must say is fashioned rather lovely.
It's beautiful. Somebody came to my stand, this is not joking now, somebody came to my stand and said that they felt it was beautiful and tactile and wonderful, and they get it out and they show their friends and stuff like that. Do you ever get it out and show your friends?
I often, at the first opportunity, whip it out from friends. We got that nice lady the other day to sniff it at your stand, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
And occasionally we'll try that if I can. So anyway, yeah, that's the Mindleaf super posh, super duper version. It looks very cool. It comes in a little bag. You can play with the back of the bag's got almost like the board on it. It's a really kind of cool, clever little abstract two-player game. It's good stocking filler. I'll put the link at the bottom of this video if anyone wants to go away and get them. There is a limited supply of them, I believe. But yeah, they're inexpensive little bit of thing, and then you're supporting one of our local game designers, which he needs all the help he can get. So there's that. So that's news. Kickstarter. What can we say about Kickstarter? There's not a lot going on Kickstarter. There's Townfolk Tussle, which looks a bit... I love the theming of this. It's kind of been there, and I haven't really looked it up until today. It's kind of done like 1940s kind of animation cartoons. There's a really cool Kickstarter video, and it all thematically it looks kind of crazy cool, and that kind of creepy sort of old school animation technique style of character. I don't know, easy way to say, just have a look at it, but they're kind of a little bit like, oh, it's a little bit terrifying. Anyway, it's kind of like a Kingdom Death Monster for much cheaper. That's kind of a grayish game on my radar one day maybe. So I looked at it, I thought, well, I'll look at it because I've heard that, and I saw that they'd unlocked a standees version, so in the minis, which is great, except they haven't actually done the standees pledge level. So you're still paying $85 for this game, which at this current time, I know not that inspired. If there'd been like a half a price of that standee version, which they've unlocked the standees, I don't know the decision process behind not releasing a cheaper version. I don't know. So yeah, they won't get my money, which is a shame, because I would have maybe, without all the minis and bling and a bit less money, I probably would have gone for it because the standees. The standees going to be in the box. I don't understand the logic on that one. Very bizarre. But anyway, yeah, it looks interesting. But the other thing on Kickstarter at the moment I mentioned, I've got a few emails about it, was Orbital, which is set in the Star Scrappers universe. Comes from Exy Studio. They did the Star Scrappers Cave In a little while ago, which I reviewed. There is a video somewhere around here, and I found it. I was doing some interesting stuff, but ultimately it was a bit just underwhelming. Really, it was doing a lot of interesting things, but it's just nothing to blow your socks off enough to go, wow, this is doing this, which is really cool. So it's kind of dropped by. It was, and it's been cheap a few places. So they've taken, which I think was Space Station, which is an old Jacob Frex's. I don't know. The guys who did Terraforming Mars, which we all know has done very well. They did this. He did this game a little while ago, which I think was called Space Station. It was about building a space station. It's an engine builder and some card play and all that. So they rethemed it with Star Scrappers, which they seem to be desperate to get the Star Scrappers thing out there, which is like a steampunk thing. I don't know if he may have been based on a video game, but kind of. I don't know why they make a big thing of it, because it kind of is. I'm like, and what is that? Aside from that, so we've got Orbital. It's relatively kind of inexpensive on there. My thing is, Terraforming Mars, yes, we know Terraforming Mars has done very well for itself. This earlier design, no one's shouting about it. So I don't know what they've done to innovate it. There was a reason why Terraforming Mars was his big hit and this one wasn't. So I don't know. But it's a retheme of that. If you're mildly interested, it might be something there, which is kind of cool. I haven't played it, I don't know. But that's out there. If that's of interest. Other than that, Kickstarter's just festooned with the normal stuff. There's lots of stuff on there. There's loads of stuff on there. But yeah, it's crazy at the moment. Crazy amount of stuff. And that's really it. A couple of boxes of stuff. So I picked up Back to the Future Back in Time, because I've heard a lot of buzz about this. I haven't played it yet. It's a cooperative game. Back to the Future is one of my most favouriteest things in the whole wide world. So I thought this is definitely something that I can get to play. I haven't really opened it up yet. I kind of like that you got that. So you open the box. That's kind of cool on the back of the board. This is also nice. This is from the OP Games, who did done very well of late with stuff like Jaws and other stuff. They've done a lot of. They're getting into the thematic game movie license thing and actually doing a good job. Normally, Ravensburg has done most of the publishing. This has come from Funko. I really like that Tales from Space. It's done like the comic book out of the movie. Nice little thing. You've got the dissolving pictures. You've got DeLorean. I mean, how cool is that? Isaac tried to steal that instantly the moment they came out of the box, so I've had to stash that. There's like an actual 3D built version of the town hall, so it sits on the board, which I now can't get out of the box. It was all kind of cartoony. It looks kind of nice. The art design looks really cool on it. It's cleverly done in that it doesn't attempt with some dice. Dice is always good. Look at those dice, lovely. Great. 86 vibe dice. So, and as I was saying, I like that it's not trying to do the time travel story in the game. Essentially, the idea of the game is that you are cooperatively playing as Marty, the professor, and a couple of other characters. Biff's a problem during the game. He's going around trying to beat you up. You're essentially trying to get the DeLorean prepped and ready in the back in the 1950s, the main point of the Back to the Future game. Trying to get it prepped and ready in time to be able to go back and take Marty back in time and fix the future, past. If you've seen the movie, you kind of get it. So it's doing that. It's not trying to do this crazy, wacky time travel game, which is kind of cool. It's thematically linked to the movie. Seems to be doing most of what they've done in the movie. It's got some nice thematic throwbacks to it, some really nice components. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get that played. Hopefully get that paid. So that's cool. Then this appeared literally the day after we went into lockdown. So this is the latest expansion for Downforce, which is the Wild Ride expansion. Now, for those of you not in the know, Downforce is a reprint from Restoration Games of Wolfgang Kramer's, I don't think it was called Downforce, but it was first out, it was on a Pit Stop or something, which I have vague recollections of playing as a child. I'm sure I did. And it's a really fun racing game. It's got almost like a Mario Kartish vibes to them. There's another expansion out previously. Essentially, you bet on cards at the start of the game, cards with certain levels of cars on them, and then you're kind of playing these cards out to race around the track. And it's just a fun thing. It's fun. It's just really good fun, little entry level-y sort of light thing. It's got like a sleeve on it. So we got the Wild Ride expansion. We got a couple of power cards there. Laying on the table is the old. Well, that's interesting. They've changed the back of the cards. Okay. Why have you done that? Doesn't really matter because, well, it does. I don't know why you've done that. Weird. So what we got in this one is we got some jumps, which sounds kind of cool. So there's actually little 3D jumps on one of the races track circuits. It's got jumps, and the other one's got some animals that will appear on the track, getting in your way. And then we got two new, double-sided board. Oh, wow. So there's the animal one. Quite a long track, that one. That's kind of cool. So this is interesting. So this is Aiello's printing of this. I've got the original Restoration Games and the first expansions to the Restoration Games. So they've put their logo on there. I wonder if that's why they've decided randomly to change the graphic design on the back of the power cards, which seems a bit of a stupid decision. But never mind. Anyway, I'm rambling to myself. It's not the end of the world because essentially you just shuffle them out and deal them out. So it's not going to break the game, but it just seems a weird choice to do. And I know there's probably some board game types out there will lose their plot over it. And this is the one with the ramps on it. Cool. I'm presuming you can't use the ramps in anything else other than this board, but you've got sharks in it. It's kind of cool. Really dig the Downforce game. It's really great. It's just a fun little, almost family level kind of game. Easy to teach, easy to play. I really enjoy that. If you're looking for something to do with the family, we got nothing else going on, Downforce. I would definitely recommend that. That's on my list of things that you should probably have a look at. It's good fun. So there's that. So coming up, there's a podcast episode that me and Charlie recorded the other week that I still want to actually put up. I need to do that. Oops. Then there's this coming. Exciting. Aren't you tantalised by that? My top 50 games. It's filmed. I need to edit it, so that will be dropping over the next week or two. Maybe over the next couple of weeks. Depends on when I get time to sit down and edit it and stuff and nonsense and shenanigans. And then other stuff. There's some more reviews I need to do. I'm going to hold back the horticulture review that I nearly finished the other day because they've actually cancelled the funding of horticulture, which is a shame, but it just wasn't quite getting over the bump. But so that's a shame. That's offline. I'm just looking. There's lots of stuff to do. I don't obviously when we get play stuff again. That's kind of now got out the window. That's it really. I've got last of this week is my last of my holiday week before I have to go back to work. So I'm going to try and get a lot of stuff filmed just so I can have it in the backlog to start editing and drop stuff out as we go along. Because time is always a battle, isn't it? But there we go. That's Mike's fallen off into my lap again. How lovely for you. I shall remove it from there so you're not having to be muffled by my groin. Right, thanks for tuning in. Very nice to catch up. Look to the podcast, hopefully drop soon. Maybe some other stuff. Definitely the top 50 videos will maybe drop soon. There's other stuff I know at the back of my head I'm supposed to be doing. We'll see. If I get anything played, I'll let you know. Stay safe out there, people. Stay apparently locked down. let's see what this month brings us. We're nearly out of it. We can't, barely 2 months to go now. We're out of 2020. It can't get, surely it can only get better. Here we go, extrapolating for the last couple of months. All right, see you soon. Have a good week, month, year, whatever. Fuck it. See you soon. Ta-ta.